Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So I am so excited to kick things off with the big question, which is, has this show changed the way you've used stores? Or not? But actually, like, I'm genuinely interested to know. Like, does this kind of seep into your everyday life where you sort of get flashbacks at work when you are in a Superstore now?
I do. I'll go into like a Walmart and have a panic attack, like I forgot my lines and should have like my costume or makeup on. Like it's this creepy, surreal thing now to walk into these stores.
Totally. Well,
Did you wanna
Justin,
say
let me.
something?
Oh, I was going to say that okay. Oh, Kate. All right, your shirt is loud. Okay. No, I was going to say that I walk into these stores and now I always want to talk to people and I always assume they're going to be really excited and they're just not. They're just like doing their jobs. And every now and then they have like stories they want to share. But yeah, I think that now it's like you walk into a store and it feels like you're at work a little bit. Yeah.
I worked in one of these stores in high school in Canada. It's called Zellers. No Canadians. Okay. Okay, we got some hands. We're too polite to just, yell out. Yeah. So coming into filming this show was very surreal. It was like, oh, yeah, I used to do this for real, and now I'm doing it on TV. So now when I go into one of those stores, it's like a three-way thing. It's like photocopying a mirror. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a real mind bend.
Nico and Nicole, you actually, once you were cast, is this like a famous story? Once you were cast, you guys applied to Target and didn't get the job?
Yeah. No, I just thought I was going to take the role really seriously, because it's such a great opportunity to really like dig into a character, and I wanted to know what it was like to work at a Target. So I went and applied, and they were not interested in me, unfortunately.
There's a Target right down the street from my house, and I have experience working retail, but in like shishi boutiques. So I was like, well, let me apply to an actual big box store. And so I sat down for like an hour, filled out the application. I was like, I got this. I got 8 years experience. And then they emailed me 2 weeks later saying, we're good. We don't need you. It's really hurtful.
Well, Justin, I want to ask, what was the light bulb moment for you here? What do you think? It's rare a show gets into a second season, a new comedy, and here you guys are sitting on this stage, coming back for season 2 this fall. What do you think it was about it that really struck people? That was 2 very different questions, I realized.
Yeah, what was it? You said
the first
what was the
was
moment?
the light bulb moment. When did you get the idea?
Oh, getting the idea. I wanted to do a workplace comedy in a workplace that I haven't seen too much of on TV. And this seemed like one that lots of people have experience with, either working there or shopping at them. I was working on a previous pilot, and my father-in-law is a lawyer and was representing some people in a class action suit against a big box store. And I remember thinking like, oh yeah, that could be a really interesting idea. I wish I were working on that right now instead of what I'm working on now. And so the next season I pitched this show. And as to why it works, I don't know. I mean, I think people like watching shows that they can relate to, that tell stories about people they know, people like them, as opposed to shows that are more escapist, and that's appealed to a lot of people. I think we have just an amazing cast, a great group of writers, and who knows? Luckily, it seems to be working.
Tell me a little bit about the casting process. I feel like one of the best things about the show is it is effortlessly diverse. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes,
is anything
very.
Effortless, or?
It really was pretty effortless in the initial casting of it. I mean, you always want to have some diversity no matter what your show is, and you're always sort of on the lookout for that. And we cast some diverse people, and then more diverse people who were fantastic came in, and it was just the best person for every role is who we cast for that role. And just as it happens, 4 of the 7 of them weren't white, so we just lucked out.
America, I want to know what about the script spoke to you. What was do you remember the moment you were reading it and sit up straight, I want to do this?
It was a couple things. First, Colton, that's your name. Colton, Marc, Lauren, and Nico had already been cast. And so the first thing I did was go look up all their YouTube videos and stand-up and trailers to hear their voices and get familiar with them. And then I read the script with their voices in mind and loved it and was surprised at how funny the script was, but also how it dared to have heart, which I think right these days in comedy, it's like the least, the less you care, the better. But there was a lot of heart in it, which I really responded to. And then I think, the whole setup of sort of this big box store for me was a big metaphor for living in America today, being an everyday person stuck in a big corporate world and being a cog in that wheel. And I grew up on workplace comedies, Cheers and Roseanne and All in the Family. And I do feel like television has kind of moved very far in the other direction of escapism. And I love that. I love Game of Thrones. I'm a big, person to be in line for a big action escapism film or show. But I do think that there's a real nostalgia and pathos for the everyday man point of view. And so that was really exciting to me too. And ultimately it was the writing. I mean, Justin, I think is brilliant and has such a strong vision. And it is effortless for him. He approaches themes and ideas, but doesn't come at it from, what's the theme of the show? He and the writer's room, they're just tapped into kind of what's going on in culture, and it just comes through. We don't have to do a Planned Parenthood episode for there to be a funny line about Planned Parenthood, and that sort of just resonates throughout the show.
As the show developed, from episode 1 to this episode we just saw, you guys do take on a lot of socially hot topics. When did you realize that became a vital part of the DNA?
Probably, funny enough, after we aired, and after we'd written them all and we shot them all before we aired, and maybe even after the finale, after the episode everyone just watched, and all of a sudden people were talking about it, and there are all these reviews that are like, oh, the little show that took on the big thing and took on the big issues, and I think we want to continue to do that while not making it just a big issue show. But I think also some of that is just in the DNA of the show. You have a show about working class people in a big box store. You're going to be dealing with status and class and race and all that. And the other issues we address are just things that we have fun talking about in the room.
Now, America, you had mentioned some of your cast members who, you guys a lot of you come from stand-up backgrounds, comedy backgrounds, improv backgrounds. I would love to know when that has come into play. Somebody give me a great example of when somebody's comedic background was put to good use.
Oh, it's every day.
I was going to say, yeah, absolutely, it's every day. I was going to say, when we were filming the pilot, Marc and I had a scene at the very beginning of the pilot, or not at the beginning, but partway through the pilot, where we were giving a meeting about crystal meth and about people selling drugs. And that was the first episode. We'd only been shooting for a couple of days, and we were like, can we just try improvising? And they were like, yeah. So we did the script, and then we just went. And often when that happens on shows, in my experience, they're like, that was so funny, and it never gets used, ever. But they used part of it, and I thought that was so thrilling and exciting and made it feel like it was such a collaborative experience. So yeah, that's just a little anecdote for you. Little tidbit.
And Colton, I like to imagine that some of the loudspeaker announcements, maybe you get to play around and improv a little bit, do you?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like to play around and improvise when I'm doing the loudspeaker stuff.
Tell them about how you made fun of me in my wedding.
Huh?
Tell them about how you made fun of my wedding.
Yeah, definitely. There's an episode where we are helping Cheyenne plan a wedding, and I describe a ridiculous, dumb wedding. And I actually described Ben Feldman's wedding.
In detail.
And his wedding was about as ridiculous and dumb as that shirt he's wearing right now.
The alley-oop.
But yeah, improv's a great part of the show, and that's one of the best things about the the entire writing staff and Justin. They created these characters that we definitely hit what's on the page because it's it's gold too. But it also is such a great foundation for us to play off of, and I think all of us feel like we know our characters so well because they're written so well that it is very, very easy and fun to kind of just go off the rails a little bit and play.
Thank you. Ben, do you feel like the cast gangs up on you sometimes?
Colton, I see a lot of people doing social media out there. Did you want to give them the hashtag?
Hashtag Ben's dumb shirt.
It's new just today, guys.
All day long.
It's gonna have some longevity though, so get on board now.
All day
If
long.
we all do it in this room, it will trend. If everybody in this room
Just
use
post
that
a
hashtag
simple
for the
photo.
next 10 minutes, it'll start trending.
Somebody designed this shirt. Yeah, and they're gonna see all of this, and they're gonna be angry at you.
Am I the only one who loves the
Thank
shirt?
you, Nico.
I am the only one who loves. Thank you. Yeah, just the gays.
It's got its own. Yeah, I was gonna say it's got a certain demographic. This shirt.
we are the tastemakers. So.
Was there a moment during season 1 when you guys felt like a real work family? Was there a specific experience that one of you thought, oh, like, yeah, this is my work family now?
I think from like day one, we were all pretty bonded. I mean, even before day one, we all got an email from Ben Feldman like, howdy campers, want to go to a bar?
My name's Ben, and I really like getting things to going.
Hey guys, I
for
have some
Cass.
shirts I'd like to show you.
Can't do these voices in an email. Obviously, I didn't sound
That's
like
exactly what you sound like. That's what you sound like. So Ben went a long way in bonding us. You know, it's fun to have a common jackass to make fun of. No, we all gang up on each other. We all gang up on each other sometimes, no?
But I feel like from day one, yeah, when we first all met, it was kind of like, oh, this is really special, you guys.
Yeah.
I like all of you.
And the other thing that should be noted is that when we wrapped the first season, the cast and a handful of the writers did take a vacation to Vegas together. So, well, I mean, yeah, hashtag Super Vegas. You can look up the photos. But don't forget hashtag Ben's dumb shirt.
Please, actually, everybody use that. Like, I pray. All right, I got a question for the whole line. I'm going to start with Nicole. Look to your right and tell me a time that the person on your right made you laugh hardest on set.
Oh no, that's so hard. What? Can you come back to me? I don't want to.
Sure, we can start anywhere.
Shit.
Or
what?
nowhere.
No, actually, what? No. It's because everyone here is so funny. There's that one scene where in the all-nighter episode where you are kicking out a customer, and I remember you did it a number of various ways, but I remember that being really funny. I'm sorry I can't think of a better example because, yeah, again, there's so many funny moments amongst the cast, but that was a favorite of mine for Nico.
Thanks, Nicole. Again, you are right. There are so many amazing moments that happened. But one of my favorite improvs that you did was when you said that I was the first responder to that guy who died on the couch. Yeah, that's on the blooper reel, and it's amazing. And I couldn't stop laughing at that improv line. She has so many, though, and yeah, I love her face. So.
Oh, bless you. I love you. Okay, sure. Gosh, there's just so many good things to say about Ben Feldman. Just so few moments where he's funny. I'm completely kidding. One of my favorite things is the dynamic that I got to play with Ben throughout this season. And just trying to be so creepy and trying to make him laugh. And he doesn't break. The one scene I have to say, I wasn't in the scene, but the one scene that I watched of his that made me cry with laughter was the episode where Amy brings her daughter to work and she gets her period for the first time. And watching Ben Feldman play with tampons and maxi pads, every time I see it, I literally cry with laughter. It's the funniest thing. And there's this one moment where you put them all the pads all over yourself. You're like, look at me. And I think it's fucking brilliant. Sorry, I swore, but I think it's really brilliant.
Thanks, Laura. Easily the funniest thing you did, I feel like you can do right now.
There was only like 2 of them, right?
No. This is the thing that like I laughed thinking about. What's the like gang thing that you yelled at Natasha?
Ladrona puta.
Yeah, but will you do it like that? Yeah.
You want me to do it right now?
Wait, yeah, but with the arms,
Oh, what did she say? She goes, she says, I don't know, somebody you're going to be putting out drivers. What is this? I don't know. Some said, ladrona puta. And then she's like, what is that? I'm like, it's boxing.
That was absolutely my favorite thing.
And there's a...
Wait, I wasn't there on set for that part, but I watched the outtakes later. And one thing you did, you were trying to do all these like intimidating things, and at one point you made this gesture without thinking, and then immediately like just broke down and fell on the ground. It was amazing.
By the way, anybody taking pictures and posting them today, that's the picture that you want to post.
I think we're on Facebook Live.
Well, that's the problem when you get too comfortable on a set and you think, oh, I'm just with my friends and I'm just hanging out. I could do a nasty lewd eating someone's vagina sign. And then it ends up on the freaking, outtake reel and it wasn't meant for everybody.
I just want to say really, really quickly, also that day was the day that we were just having so much fun that we kept getting louder and louder and louder. And then Ruben Fleischer, amazing director, at one point just yelled the note, Lauren in America, can you lower the volume, please? It was like we had just reached just like a decibel that was like two girls at a slumber party.
That day we came up with the spin-off for when the show gets canceled in 9 years.
Yep.
Where we're going to be Rizzoli and Isles.
That's
Amy
right.
and Dina.
Dina
That's
and
gonna
Amy.
Happen.
Mhm.
That's going to happen. So Justin's never on set because he's always in the room writing the funny. So I'm going to skip to Marc and say easily the day that I laughed so long and so hard to the point where like no one thought it was funny anymore. Like, the director who was directing us that day legit got mad, like, fucking America. Like, it was so unprofessional. It was the scene where we were doing the magazine editor comes in to do a cover story, and Glenn thinks it's gonna be all about him. And wait, I feel like I want you to do it now. We couldn't keep a straight face. It was me and Eliza Coop. We could not keep a straight face. Why don't you do it for them? The hi, welcome to meeting me, and you're a pretty kid.
Pretty, aren't you?
That was easily the day I definitely peed my pants.
Oh, this is so easy. I got like a million of them. Do you want to hear them? Because it's Colton. I think as a comedian, just as an appreciation for going to the darkest place, and this is on our blooper reel, was when the story was Garrett and is trying to, just to be a shit disturber, which is the great thing about his character, is trying to get him to do rap, trying to get Mateo to do rap, and he's got him so into being a gangster, and he says, go ahead, say the N-word. And he was both saying it to Mateo, but also Nico, the actor. And he just got this look in his eyes, go, yeah, say it. Say it on camera.
I also have to add a Colton one to this, because I can't remember what scene it is, but you guys will. It was just like it was a break room scene, and Glenn was trying to get everybody's attention. And every time at the tail end of every time, we
the
like
laughter
all
would die
went
down
silent.
like this, and
Garrett was on the phone the whole time, and he finally, everybody silenced. He's like, I will kill a wolf.
No, I will eat a wolf.
No, I will kill a
Can I
wolf.
kill or eat? I'll kill a wolf. I'll kill a wolf. Like he's ending this insane conversation.
Had nothing to do with anything going on.
Yeah. And then, of course, the other one, which is right at the end of the show, just because it relates to the episode, is when Jonah runs to tell Colton that everybody's leaving the store. Without missing a beat, he got up out of his wheelchair and walked out.
I'll do Nicole, right? You guys, the dance that Nicole does in the lock-in episode is the funniest thing in the world, and she got so into it. And we're so lucky to get to watch her rehearse it over and over again. And it is so graceful. She really is a good dancer. And then she drops to her knees and starts getting freaky. That is hands down one of the funniest. It still to this day cracks me up.
Well, all right, those were incredible, far beyond my expectations. All right, I know you guys got some questions for us. So I'm gonna open it up to the crowd. Raise your hand or hold up a smartphone. Well, she's just on hers, but yes.
Yeah, it took place in a Texas Cloud9 in the world of the show. So, they were using, we shoot, stone's throw from the Mindy project, and they were using our set, and Mindy was just like, yeah, why are we rebranding it? Let's keep it Cloud9 and kind of just cross our worlds, which is cool. And, we think it, were there a world where Mindy's world and our world existed? I was on the Mindy
I did that show for 2 episodes, so it would be like this really strange.
It would, yeah, the
like
world
there's like a
would eat each other
doppelganger of
if it's-
Jonah
Yeah.
who dated Mindy like a year and a half ago.
Ben Feldman cinematic universe.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Yes. A couple of them are real, things they've seen or things they've heard about, and then we come up with a lot of them, and they were sort of their way of giving a little reality to the world. Also, just practically, almost all our episodes take place in that store, and so when you want to show time passing, normally you go to an exterior of wherever you are now, but we'd just be going to an exterior of the same store again and again, like the Golden Girls house, like if we were doing that. So it's a way to like break up scenes a little, but yeah, it's become a popular part of the show.
There's 2 answers to that.
Two answers, right. First, we'll be doing a extra bonus Olympic themed episode during the Olympics at some point in August, which is going to be really fun. It's great. And then when we premiere Thursday nights at 8 in September, we are, at least the plan right now, is to pick up at the exact second we left off right at the end of that episode. So no time whatsoever has passed. What happens next?
Even though I put on 7 pounds.
Yeah, people are talking.
2 minutes later. Bee sting.
Bee sting. That guy's Australian too. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to add to it.
Yeah, he's incredible though,
It's
and
really
he
about
and
Australia.
he won't he speaks in his American accent the whole
On
day that
set.
he's on set. So you wouldn't know that he's even Australian if you met him on set because he's
Does that answer your
constantly-
question?
But
So let it be known that Ben says the guy's a jerk because he's Australian.
Because he's Australian.
One of our writers' fathers is a pharmacist, so we go to her for some stories and stuff. But we just thought it would be funny. You hear about like cardiac surgeons with a god complex, and we're like, it should just be like a pharmacist with a god complex, and that's sort of where his character came from.
Oh yeah, pretend I asked that.
Were you supposed to ask that?
Yeah, we're still, we're figuring out. There isn't much of a plan right now, other than they're going to keep on getting closer, becoming friends. What we always say is this is a true will they, won't they, because even I don't know if they're ever going to get together. It's about their relationship, but that relationship may become romantic, or maybe they'll just impact each other's lives in a cool way.
Will anybody else, any other characters, get a love interest this season?
There'll be some stuff.
All right.
I hope Dina gets just a football team of love interests. Just bring them on, you know what I mean? Whatever, I'm cool.
Same time or one after the other?
Oh, I'm open.
The show is based in St. Louis. The Rams are now in LA, so no football team. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
what a shame.
Sorry, I'm a nerd. Technical detail. Thank you. Thank you very much.
There was one more down here.
You know, the love on Twitter for 10 episodes of Superstore was so strong, and then the hate on Twitter after that 30 seconds of TV is amazing. I said to Justin immediately, we were as a group, we watched the last episode as it aired live, and then the tweets started coming in, and I turned to him and I was like, I'd like to be America's sweetheart again, so.
I think her storyline is going the way of Jon Snow. We all show up and just stab you in the heart. And then we take the store back. But then you come back alive in season 3.
Yeah. But all jokes aside, though, I also think that we never betrayed Dina's character. That is what Dina would do. Dina would not just jump on board and want to save these other people. And if she did, I would think that was selling her out a little bit. So I think it's awesome that it ended that way. And if she becomes a villain, she becomes a villain. I mean, the evil queen is hot, right?
But I think that it is true to her character we've set up. I didn't even view it as that villainous a move. She was acting in character. She'll come back. I think people will start to love her again. And you don't want everyone to always be just doing things to help other people and to make people feel better. Like, you want to have fun and keep people's dark sides. Yeah, exactly.
And even they have the Cookie Monster.
All right, so this is my last question. We've laughed, we've giggled, we've chuckled, we've shared a lot. But when has this show ever hit home and made you emotional? Did any of you have a very emotional day on set, and can you tell me about it?
Watching that last episode, I legitimately cried. Like what's the name of that song that plays at the end?
Teenage Wasteland.
Is it Teenage Wasteland? Yeah. When that starts to happen and everybody starts to leave the store to band together, even now, I think it's just such a beautiful moment of heart that didn't feel sappy or syrupy. It was just like, as a fan of the show, not just an actor on the show. But no, it was just such a beautiful moment that watching that, even now, even when we came in and it was coming on, I was like, hold it together, Ash, hold it together.
Yeah, I had a pretty emotional moment with the cast this morning when I saw Ben in that shirt. I couldn't stop crying, thinking about the poor child worker who had to sew that shirt together.
Come on, what are some of the better ones you came up with?
Okay, it looks like Toucan Sam took a dump on his chest. It looks like he was attacked by a Skittles factory. He lost playing paintball. There's a whole bunch.
One of my favorite episodes was the gay marriage episode, and I got to have a really awesome scene with Marc. But I don't know, it was just a really cool episode. The gay marriage had just passed, and I thought it was so great that they sort of really flipped the script and portrayed Glenn's character, who is very religious, as being really supportive of gay marriage. It's just something you don't see that often. And as somebody who comes from a religious family and has a lot of religious friends, I thought it was just really cool the way they handled it. And I was totally,
In the all-nighter episode, when Cheyenne does her dance, I legit was sobbing. Do you remember that? I was sobbing because it was the moment I realized, like, oh, they're a family. Like, they love it. And they're, like, letting Cheyenne do her dance that she didn't get to do. I just really moved me.
No, you actually had tears in your eyes.
Legit sobbing. And Christine, the
America
director,
Ferrera cry.
was like, great, America, we got that. Can you do one not crying? Like, she was very, like, I don't know that works for this show, but I was sobbing when you were doing that dance. Yeah. You're a beautiful dancer, too.
Oh, thanks.
But then it was Nicki Minaj.
My anaconda don't. My anaconda don't want none.
Justin, what about you? As like the father of these crazy characters, like clearly your cast loves each other or pretends to love each other, but they seem to genuinely, like, what does that mean to you? Because this is rare. I feel like this is genuinely.
It really
rare.
is. It's. They use the phrase like lightning in a bottle, and it's a cliche, but it really does feel like that. Like when you're casting it, you cast. You can look for whoever's the best actor, and you can kind of gauge their personality a little and think like, well, is that someone that I want to work with? But just the first day, everyone came together and like clicked right away, and that's something you just had to like cross your fingers and hope for. And yeah, it really is. It's great, and it means that it takes so much of the burden off me and all the writers too. Just that they're all so funny, they improvise so many hilarious jokes on stage, but just also that the relationships are real, and the actors stick to that reality all the time. So even if there is like a beat or a line that were to ring false, they make it ring true, which is great.
Amazing. Well, guys, give it up one more time for the cast and Justin Spitzer Superstore. Thank you guys so much for being here. This was a delight.